Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lithuba ngibonge i-support nothando enikhombise lona lingaphezu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisupporte njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla. Ngesikhathi u-Chief of Staff ka-Minister wamaphoyisa uSenzo Mchunu okuCedric Gabinde evele phambi kwe-ad hoc committee, ebufakazini abethula wakhuluma ngoPaul Sullivan, kodwa ekhuluma ngeqhaza alibamba noma alibambayo emsebenzini yamaphoyisa ehlukahlukeneyo. Kodwa wakhuluma specifically nge-IPD ukuthi babe ingxenye yena yabantu ababeplotha ukususa uGeneral Phahlane kwisikhundla ekuso ngoba waye-acting National Commissioner ngaleso sikhathi. Wachaza ilokho kwenza ukuthi namhlanje uPaul Sullivan ethi uyamsuwa noma uyambophisa for i-perjury of which is lying under oath. Kodwa before sifunda i-letter evela kuPaul Sullivan noma i-affidavit kaPaul Sullivan, ngifisa uqala ngekukhumbuza ukuthi wathini uCedric Gabinde ngesikhathi ephambi kweParliament. Ngicela uzwe la.
Who is this Paul Sullivan? Because even General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, when he came here, he spoke about him. What is his interest in SAPS? Does he play any official role in SAPS?
He does not play any role in SAPS, but is in charge. Because he can send one email and everything stopped.
So
I even, through your chair, I even took that matter to Labour Court. How on earth an outsider send one email, and I've got all the proof that I got the post. I'm recommended for the post. How on earth an outsider send one email and my appointment is stopped? And while that Labour case is going on, it was when Minister Mchunu appointed me. Then I had to then withdraw that post because it was a lower post anyway.
So according to your understanding, what triggers his interest in SAPS operations as an outsider? Why is he so interested?
There's a long history because the report that we are referring to in this house, it also implicates him. In fact, that is a report that I was reporting what McBride and Paul Sullivan are doing. So I know they just hate me with passion.
Okay.
Including Sesoko,
Yeah.
the one that is with IDEC.
Did you ever have a relationship with Paul O'Sullivan?
No, not at all. He was working with us.
Well, what do you mean working with you? Because he is not. He does not have any official responsibility, right, at SAPS.
That was exactly what I was reporting. He was leading us, but from outside.
Did he ever, besides the influence that he had on the position that you applied for, notwithstanding that influence, did he ever have any influence in SAPS?
Not
Did he ever influence anything, despite what you have mentioned?
Not only in SAPS, he's running IPD, he's running SAPS, he's running NPA. You know what General Mkhwanazi is reporting about the state capture? This is a real state capture. Because even the docket, if the docket involves Paul Sullivan, there are two dockets are there lying dust in the NPA. In fact, it was even removed from a black prosecutor.
So did he ever, I'm trying to connect some dots.
When we talk about this thing, I become very emotional what is happening between me and Mkhwanazi. Because I was fighting this with him.
So you were fighting this interference?
Yes,
this undue interference,
yes,
by Paul O'Sullivan?
Me and Mkhwanazi, we are one WhatsApp group. So I don't know what is, maybe I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because these are the things that, even what he's reporting now, these are the things that me and him are fighting, state capture.
But what I'm trying to understand here, Mr. Gabinde, is how does he successfully interferes in SAPS operations? Does he have people that he works with in SAPS? Is he connected to some influential people who just take instructions from him? And if so, who are those people?
Yeah, he works with very senior people in SAPS in such a way that even with that appointment, my appointment, they leak it to him. He even wrote there that I know about an imminent appointment of Kabinde. Then you dare appoint him. So now how does he even got internal documents.
So do you know who he works with at SAPS? Can you specify people with whom he has been working to influence SAPS operations?
Not really, but it shows that because he knows everything in SAPS, but you wouldn't specifically say this did what when.
Okay. So while you were still working for IPIT, did you ever get any instruction from him? Or did he ever try to influence you to take a particular position?
Yes, he was giving us instruction.
How was
He was in charge of us.
How was he giving you instructions? Was he calling you, or he was coming to your offices, or he was sending you SMSs? How did it happen?
He come to the office, he hold meetings with us to tell us what to do. At some stage, he will go and interview our witnesses, portraying as if he worked for IPID. Having our letterhead of IPID, he will just call you to come and sign, and it's done everything.
Yeah, because you know what I'm trying to understand here is how does an outsider who does not work for SAPS how does he has so much influence in SAPS operations? Where is he getting those powers from? I mean, it means the system is very loose at SAPS. Anybody can just go in and call staff members and invite them to a meeting. Is it loose to that extent that anyone like myself, I can just go to any SAPS offices here or IPIT offices and say, guys, let's meet in the boardroom, let's have a meeting, and give you instructions?
Yeah, no, they are in charge. He is in charge.
But where does he get those powers from? Because for you to be in charge, you must get powers from somewhere.
Hey, we don't know. Maybe this, at least now, it's revealed now to the higher authority in Parliament.
So
because this thing was never even attended to. My report was never even interrogated, except that Minister Cele used it not to renew his contract. But the allegation, they were never dealt with. In fact, I'm the one who's suffering outside. That even when I've got an opportunity to get a job, Paul O'Sullivan will send one email to stop me. Now, it means even this appointment, I only got it because it was a hierarchy from a political office. He could not stop it. Yeah.
So what you are saying here is that you were not appointed because of his influence.
Yes. One email
to the National Commissioner.
Yes.
So the National Commissioner acted in accordance with the instructions of Paul O'Sullivan.
Yes.
Okay. So did he ever influence a dismissal of anybody or a removal from any position of any person who ever worked for SAPS?
Yeah, that was the project that we were in, which is part of what I was reporting. The project was to make sure that General Phahlane does not get appointed as a permanent national commissioner. He was an acting national commissioner by then.
No, wait. So when you are saying it's a project that you were in, do you also involve yourself in that project?
Hence, I reported it, yes.
So you were a group that was plotting against General Phahlane?
We were in that task team that were plotting with an instruction of McBride and Paul O'Sullivan.
So how were you plotting? Were you holding physical meetings or?
Physical meetings and how we're gonna do it. That's why I ended up reporting this. It was against my conscience, but destroying people. Then Phahlane was then suspended. Motiba came in as an acting national commissioner. We go for him.
Ezinye zezinto lezi ezazivezwa uCedric Nkabinde lapha kwi ad hoc committee ngoPaul O'Sullivan noma-ke iyinto indaba yakhona bakuningi akuvezwa wagcina kuvezwa ukuthi babeplotha kanjani ukususa uGeneral Phahlane waye-acting national commissioner. Uze uyasho nokuthi ima-meetings lawo ayibanjelwe emzini wakhe uPaul Sullivan. Uthe ngalo lolo suku esakhuluma baphuma baya kwi-break. Uma bebuya kwi-break wakhuluma kanje uCedric Kabindo.
Sorry, Chair, to disturb the process. I think it's important that I put this message, which I received now, into the record.
Yeah.
As I'm eating there, I received this message from Paul Sullivan.
Yeah.
Get ready, you lying crook. I am going to make sure you spend some years in prison. You were bribed by Mkhwanazi and Mabula. Now you will pay for your crimes guaranteed.
Yona message ke la ifunda uCedric Kabindo iyathunyelwa uPaul Sullivan ngalo lolo suku. Kodwa kwavela ngalo suku ukuthi akaqaqala kwenzeka into enje. Baye bathi bekwi-portfolio committee ngo-2018 waphinde futhi wabathumelela ama-SMS ebethreatenisha kanje. So into zakhe lezi uzijwayele. Asesifundi letter yakhe. Siza ukuthi yena uthini kuyo. Yini le akhala ngayo kule statement sika Nkabinde. Singakayifundi letter yakhe. Kune statement eshiwo inuno lapha yango Paul Sullivan. Ngicela uzwe la.
No, thank you. I'm asking because, you would have noticed I asked about Mdluli. I'm now asking about Liz O'Sullivan because these are people who, from what we hear, whose involvement in our security cluster and the impact of their actions have been very, very devastating.
Just one other thing. He likes his beer, big time.
He likes his beer.
He loves his beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope sooner than later we'll understand what brings them together in that way.
He loves his beer. He hates Kumalo. He hates Masimula. He hates Mkhwanazi.
Now, on the
He hates
issue...
Ted.
Oh, sorry. On the
There's
issue...
no problem with Mkhunu.
He has a problem?
Has no.
Has no problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Inuno la isivezela ukuthi uPaul Sullivan kunabantu akabazondayo. Kodwa ukhonze noma uthanda uGeneral Sibiya. Kodwa uzonda uGeneral Masemula, uGeneral Mkhwanazi noGeneral Khumalo. Siyazi ukuthi ukuboshwa kaGeneral Khumalo nalabo ayiboshwe nabo beboshwa iIDEC. uPaul Sullivan unesandla kuloko. Ngizokuprova lokho ngekudala. Ngicela uzwe la.
I'm not saying Sibiya is an angel, but I've not yet seen anything that implicates him in any wrongdoing.
Sir, you're a forensic investigator. There's a letter from June 2022 implicating him in wrongdoing, receiving 3.5 million of unlawful gratification and causing 580 million of irregular expenditure. I don't know about you, but to me, anybody causing 580 million in irregular expenditure is not somebody that I would be vouching for with my chest on platforms. I would not be vouching for that person to be in charge of the Hawks or to even be involved in policing. Very peculiar that you selectively see what you want to see. There's evidence that he has been implicated in relationships with people who've committed crimes.
Ukuprovela nje ukuthi ukuboshwa kaGeneral Khumalo ngoJune eboshwa iIDEC kanye nalabo abanye oGeneral ayiboshwe nabo. uPaul Sullivan wayenesandla kukho. Ngizokuprovela lokho nje bese sifunde letter yakhe.
I think these people knew that the net would be closing in on them. I personally spoke to accused number 7, which is Brigadier Makweli. I spoke to her in January and I asked her to explain how she got appointed at the age of 29 years, how she got parachuted into the Crime Intelligence Division at the rank of Brigadier, when there are people there that have been serving for 30 or 35 years who haven't even achieved the rank of Brigadier, and they must now report to this young lady who knows nothing about policing. and she told me I should speak to head office. So instead of speaking to head office, I spoke to IDAC, the minister, and the office for, the Office of the Inspector General for Intelligence. And I had several meetings with them in my offices, and we packaged everything up and we gave it to them. But the reality is that we have now 5 generals and 2 brigadiers that have been arrested within a 24-hour period and arraigned in court. Of the 7, 6 have been granted bail, in very small amounts, by the way. I can't believe that somebody can commit such serious crimes and only be granted bail of 10,000 rand. Of course, they would probably have to hand in their passports and report their movements to the investigating officer.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is they will have to stand trial, and my understanding is that the matter is trial ready. So we should see some action here, and hopefully it will re-establish the credibility of IDAC, or the the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, and it should also establish the ability of the police to have new leadership in crime intelligence, because without a doubt, the current head of crime intelligence has been running crime intelligence in much the same way that Richard Ndluli did.
Yeah. Bona ke lana kungcono sizizwele uzisholo yena uPaul Sullivan ukuthi ukhulumile no Brigadier Makwelelo wayiqashiwe, yena wahlanganisa meeting eyifaka kuyo uMinister, Inspector General of Crime Intelligence, kube iIDAC, bayipackage lento ukuze bekwazi ukuboshwa labo general. Yabona lo muntu mkhulu okwazi ukuhlanganisa lamakhanda oyi3 endaweni eyi1. Hayi mkhulu ngempela uPaul Sullivan. Noma yini abayishoyo ngayo vele uyibona ukuthi ngempela imfanele lo muntu uma ekwazi ukuhlanganisa uInspector General weCrime Intelligence noMinister neIDAC ukuze abopha abantu abaphethe iCrime Intelligence. Kuthi kwenzekile futhi wayishaya isifuba proud ngoba umsebenzi wakhe. Asifundeke nansi letter yakhe bese siyayivala ivideo. Sona statement sakhe sifungelwe lesi sifundeka kanje, open quotes, I, the undersigned, Paul Sullivan, a white adult male with opal ID number yakhe and the cellular number wayibhala, state under oath in English as follows. I stay, address yakhe wayivala. The purpose of this statement is to open a criminal docket against Mr. Cedric Mthokozisi Nkabinde with ID number bayivala for the offense of perjury, in that on the about 2025 November 19, whilst under oath and testifying at the ad hoc committee of parliament, he unlawfully intentionally lied and in so doing intentionally misled the parliamentary ad hoc committee. I do not have a transcript of the lies to the ad hoc committee. However, News 24 gave a running commentary on Nkabinde's testimony, which I attached here too, and will use this as basis for my complaint. I attached the News 24 printout I have made as Annexure A, and I will go through it in reverse order, starting at page 5. On page 5, Nkabinde falsely claims that I'm in charge of the police. This is an outright lie, and Nkabinde knows it is an outright lie. He goes on and say that I'm running the police and the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA. He goes even further to say that I'm running the Independent Police Investigating Directorate, IPID, which also knows to be outright lie. He goes so far as to say I ran IPID from the outside, whatever that means. Near the top of page 5, Nkabinde alleges that I will go to IPID offices and interview witnesses there. This is another outright lie. I have never in my life interviewed any witness at IPID's office. Later, I will explain Nkabinde's motive for his lies to Parliament. On page 4, Nkabinde alleges that I was involved in a project to ensure that General Phahlane was not appointed as National Commissioner. Nkabinde knows that to be a total lie, as he knows I had opened dockets with IPID against Phahlane for corruption. Phahlane is on a trial for the very offense on which I opened a docket. He falsely informed Parliament that I wanted Robert McBride to be the National Commissioner of Police, a known and intentional lie, which he later changes and says McBride himself wanted to be the National Commissioner of Police. On page 3, Nkabinde runs with a complete lie that there was a meeting with McBride, 2 white males from AfriForum, and that AfriForum guaranteed that funds would be available, and that's the purpose of what is now saying is a plot to bring down Phahlane, and that I was spying on Phahlane. I assume Nkabinde refers to a year-end braai, or I assume Nkabinde refers to a year-end braai at which various people were present, but not a single person from AfriForum was present. There was no meeting and there was no plot to bring down Phahlane. There was a criminal investigation into Phahlane, of which at that time Nkabinde was part of as an employee of IPID. I will later explain how Nkabinde was bribed to become a member of the team of criminals Phahlane had assembled to save himself from prison. Near the top of page 3, Nkabinde lies that I received funding from overseas to interfere with the justice cluster. This is another fabrication under oath of Nkabinde, and he needs to be put on trial for intentionally lying to Parliament. By this stage of the day, I had started receiving calls from journalists who wanted me to comment on Nkabinde's lies to Parliament. Although the journalists did not refer to them as lies, they spoke as if Nkabinde was being truthful. I therefore sent the following message to Nkabinde by WhatsApp, by way of exercising my right to call him out for being a liar, in the hope that he will alert Parliament on his own lies. Nansi ke message uyifundile kodwa uNkabinde sithi asikho isidingo sokuthi ngaphinde ngiqale phansi, kodwa nje uPaul O'Sullivan la uyaqinisekisa ukuthi leya message yafundwa uNkabinde eParliament yayivela kuye uPaul O'Sullivan, ukuthi indeed wayisend message le ayifunda uNkabinde ayifundele eParliament. With the second message I attached on affidavit dated 2018 July 24, deposed to by IDEX senior investigator Humbulani Kumba. I attached a copy of a said affidavit as Annexure B. I will come back to this item later. On page 1 of the News 24 extract, Nkabinde dishonestly alleges that I regularly fly to London and come back with spying equipment. He has simply invented this lie to embellish his other lies to Parliament. I will go shortly into detail about his criminal motive, which are simply intended to distract attention away from Nkabinde's long criminal career. Nkabinde finally goes on dishonestly says that I own a grabber, which I used for illegal purposes. This is a further intentional lie. Not only do I not have such a thing, but I also never seen such a thing as a grabber, and will not know if a piece of equipment known as a grabber was sitting right in front of me. The criminal history of Nkabinde. In order to understand the motive of Nkabinde's crime and his intentional lie to Parliament, it is necessary to go back in time by 9 years, to a point where Nkabinde took it upon himself to join forces with the criminal enterprises headed by the acting Commissioner of Police Khomotso Phahlane. Although it would appear to be complex, I will try to explain it in a simplified manner. It is first important to set out the role players were in this criminal enterprise. Phahlane, I have already mentioned, was the acting commissioner of police, unlawfully appointed to protect certain criminals involved in the state capture. Ntlemeza refers to Major General Ntlemeza, who was then unlawfully appointed national head of DPCI. Mabula refers to Major General Mabula, who was then acting head of DPCI in Northwest Province, who acted unlawfully to try and prevent Phahlane from facing justice for his corruption. Mokotedi was the unlawfully appointed Major General, provincial head of DPCI. Abrams was then unlawfully appointed National Director of Public Prosecution, NDPP. Mlotshwa, Jabulani Mlotshwa was then the unlawfully appointed Deputy Director of the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit. Michael Mashugha, a Deputy Director in Gauteng NPA, who took it upon himself to act for and on behalf of Phahlane and Mabula in committing the offense of defeating the ends of justice. Muno refers to them as Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Muno. Kabinde, I have already described above, was an investigator at IPID who chose to join the criminal enterprises described above, and after being caught out, was suspended and faced dismissal and criminal charges, and resigned from IPID to avoid X falling on him. A corrupt acting commissioner of police. The background: in mid-2014, I opened a criminal complaint against Muno, alleging a fraud and corruption. I did this after I discovered that he had engaged in corrupt activities by January 2015. I had been informed that the police did not intend to deal with my complaint, so I referred the matter to IPID and to Robert McBride in particular, then the head of IPID, McBride. Throughout 2015, I had multiple engagements with McBride concerning my complaint against Muno. The Muno docket is not terribly relevant to this matter, merely to show that this is how I found a professional association with McBride in his role as executive director of IPID. Yona affidavit le kaPaul O'Sullivan. And uzubona ukuthi wayenobudlelwano obuhle noMcBride, wathi noma IPID simkhiphile emsebenzini yena wamlwela uMcBride uthi akabuyele. Ngicela uzwe la.
I went to Helen Suzman Foundation, and I funded the Helen Suzman Foundation with a substantial amount of money to bring an application to have Robert McBride's suspension overturned, and he was reinstated back at IPID.
Insukwini ezedlule sikhulumile ngama-NGO neqhaza lidlalayo ngoba umsebenzi wabo ukuthi bathathe inqumo ethathwa yama-institution ka-government bawasenkantolo ukuze inkantolo kwesinye isikhathi irule in their favor. So lana uyakuvezela uPaul O'Sullivan ukuthi uMcBride yathi noma IPID simkhiphile hazo uma emxoshile noma emsuspendile, kodwa yena wafanda iHelen Suzman Foundation ukuze ithathe IPID iyisenkantolo. Ngempela isinqumo leso saguqula, uMcBride wabuyiselwa emsebenzini. Question efuneka sisitholane ukuthi why uPaul O'Sullivan efuna uMcBride abe ku-IPID? Mbuzo ofuna sisibuze wona. Why uPaul O'Sullivan? What's in it for him? Uzozuzana ngokuthi uMcBride usebenzele iPID. Yini yena azoyizuza? Angiyibambe ivideo. Cela ukuzuphala kwakho comment section. Ngale kwalokho mina nawe sidibana kwivideo landelayo. Ngiyabonga.